for apparently a really great company, takes care of their employees. So she is someone that I listen to frequently. I think she's up to over 30 episodes now. They run about an hour long. If you're interested in some more explicit conversation, and she gets into a lot of definition of specific kinks and fetishes, uh, which is often funny. I advise checking her out. Just do a search for her podcast. Like I said, the name of it is Horse School, and she started doing it because she got tired of trying to explain to her adult friends how things actually work. So it started out as an educational podcast, which it still very much is, but it was more of like a sex ed type thing and talking about things that don't get talked about where she's from. She lives in Texas, and by law in Texas and most states in the U.S., sex ed does not have to be based on fact or science. They can pretty much teach you all the way up through 12th grade that the stork brings the babies or whatever they choose to teach. So it's not really governed by law at all. And of course, mostly the only thing that they teach is abstinence, which leaves out getting tested and everything that is important. So check her out. She is tons of fun. All right, from Suchi. One of the issues, gotta turn my screen here. All right. Oops, sorry about that knock on the microphone. One of the issues I see sometimes in master-slave situations is that basic human rights, food, water, shelter, etc., become seen as privileges. What are my thoughts? That is, wow, that's really good. Very good, little one. uh, that is a negotiated space. Now, I do know of what I refer to as the bottom barrel slaves. They're not, they eat out of food dishes. I know one person that lives in Kentucky. I've just recently met them online and in a chat forum. And one of them, or the slave, actually has to go outside, be walked to use the bathroom, and is given food on a schedule like somebody who owns a dog would. A good pet owner feeds their pets on a schedule. Now, do I believe that receiving food, shelter, this type of stuff is a right? Yes. Safe, sane, and consensual. When it comes to people who give up 100% of their rights to someone, knowing that that is going to put them in a dangerous situation, and that's what they're wanting, is that dangerous situation. They know that food is going to be withheld. I mean, I'm diabetic. If I was a submissive and I gave up total control and my master just decided, you know what, you've been bad, I'm not going to feed you today, then I could die. Yeah, so for me, I don't believe that is safe or sane when people do that. And in my experience, and if you're listening to this and you have given up total control, or you have taken total control from someone, they've given it to you, just know that I'm talking about my personal experience here and what I've seen. Okay. So the people that I have witnessed in this type of situation, and also keep in mind that I spent 20 years working in the mental health field. These people need psychological help. Uh, that's just been my experience. Almost 100% of the people that I've met like that could definitely benefit from professional counseling of some sort. Uh, I think most people could, but some people need it a lot more than others. So, to answer your question, do I believe that food, water, shelter are basic human rights? Absolutely, I do. And to treat someone as an animal is one thing. Well, you know, your animals, your pets deserve water, food, shelter. So why wouldn't you give them to your human pets as well? That's where I stand there. In many extreme fantasies, this is from Sarah. In many extreme fantasies, master slave, the slave has no rights. It is a privilege to breathe. Yes. I have seen that a lot. I've been part of that. And I can tell you, like I said, from experience, that particular submissive, which Suchi was with me over the phone a lot through that whole journey. So she knows first, second hand that person did need a lot of psychological issues taken care of. And I don't know. I think to play that it is not their right and to play that you're granting it to them is one thing. Because, Sarah, as you typed, extreme fantasy is one thing. I was listening to Harper a couple days ago, actually, and she was talking about something that relates when it comes to fantasy. She just gets extremely turned on by like an inflation fantasy. And with her, she is a dominatrix, and she loves all of her little sissy boys that she plays with. And, filling them up and watching their stomachs rise as she inflates them with liquid. That's just a huge thing to her. But she knows, she's very well trained. She's very educated. She has multiple college degrees. I forget what all they're in, but they do connect directly to the things, to the lifestyle, strangely enough. I think psychology, sociology, things of that nature, medical courses. She knows what is safe and what isn't. So her fantasy is way more extreme than what she could actually do to one of her slaves in person. And she won't break that boundary. So I think that to fantasize about that is perfectly fine. Or to role play that to some degree is okay. But to actually fully go into that and make my pet sleep outside in the rain without food I think that's taking it to abuse. And again, that's just me. That's just my opinion. And a lot of people that I know that I'm really good friends with, and some that I'm not really good friends with, would would jump all over me in complete disagreement. But that's the thing about BDSM is take it and make it yours. Just make sure that you're keeping it what you and your partner agree on is safe, sane, and consensual. And sometimes the rest of the world won't agree with that, and I just hope that people don't go too far with it in some cases. Suchy says bringing it back to safe, sane, and consensual is a very good point. I do appreciate that. Restricting some rights in a limited scene can be a way to live out that fantasy, but it still has to come back to safe, sane, consensual. Yeah. That role play. That's a great point. Different way of wording it, wording what I said, which I think actually makes it a little more clear. And that's something that I really enjoy doing. I mean, as far as play goes, choking somebody. Now, I don't have a fantasy of choking somebody to death. I don't want to, get into a snuff film situation, but I do enjoy, say, if I'm enjoying someone from behind, lacing my fingers around their neck, interlacing my fingers, with each other, just at the front of their neck, pulling back, exhibiting some breath control, that kind of thing. The fantasy could be to hold them there until they pass out, or not. It may or may not be that, but if it was, that's one thing for the fantasy. And that's something that could very easily be role played. But, in reality, no, that's not safe. So, all right, that was a good topic. Anybody else have anything else? Actually, I do want to hit on what Sarah said one more time. That it being a privilege to breathe in that extreme fantasy. It's really tricky waters there. Because it's not just been one submissive that I've had that was that way. And yes, they were very honored that I would allow them the privilege to breathe. However, I never told them not to. Never restricted their breathing. Never wanted to. It was their own personal mindset because as their dominant, I was on such a pedestal. And I did make every single decision for them that was their mindset, because for them, that's what they needed. They just needed somebody to have that much control over them. And yeah, they did look at it like that, that every single thing that they had, they were privileged to be alive, that I allowed them to live, that I allowed them to be in my presence or to breathe around me, or my friends, whatever the case was. So that was a state of mind, not at all a state of reality. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're heading into the 1 hour mark at exactly 1 hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up.